Obviously, the last play in the first overtime was meant to happen that way. What did you draw up?
Just the way you draw it up. Turn around, throw in a three-pointer at the buzzer. You know, that's basketball. You know, so many times it's not what you draw up. It's about guys making basketball plays. That's what the game's about. It's very obvious. You know, the most disappointing thing with me is this. You're always happy to win, but it's not about, you know, just winning. It's about getting our team to do the things we want them to do. And we have to get better in so many areas. The ability to concentrate. You know, see things happen before it happens. I know that sounds complicated, but it's really not. As a player, and there's too many times we have lack of concentration that leads to breakdowns. Then defensively, you know, y'all have heard me talk about this. We just got to do a better job guarding that dribble. We got to guard that dribble better. And again, know this. I'm learning our team just like you're learning them. I'm seeing what they can do. Not physically, but mentally. You know, there's a lot of guys at 3 o'clock can play different than they can at 7 o'clock. When you turn those lights on, that popcorn starts popping, people get in those stands, then's when you got to be able to concentrate, you know, execute. But again, you know, then I think the other big thing is this. We have to get some bench ready to help us. Playing some guys way too many minutes that leads to more mental fatigue, lack of concentration. And that's all part of it too. So we have to get some guys developed that we can trust and buy some time. Those starters are playing. Man, I got 3 guys played 45 minutes plus. You just can't have that. In those areas we got to get better at. It leads for those guys making mistakes, what it leads to.
Junior made a big improvement from the first game. Where have you seen him grow tonight?
You know, notice about Junior, it will never be about lack of trying, lack of attitude, willing to learn. His challenge is this. He's been a 3 player all his life. Now he's having to play point guard at both ends. Offensively, understanding what everybody else is doing, then defensively, stopping that ball. You know, that's a challenge for a guy who's never done it now. A huge challenge. But, you know, we got to continue to find ways, hide some things, and keep getting him better at some things. It'll never be lack of effort, lack of, you know, trying and all that. He's one of those guys that give you everything he's got. But it is a challenge. He had that little guy up under him all night long. That's not easy. A guy who's never been a point guard to bring it. And again, a lot of it starts right there. Ability to break some people down, get some easy plays. As y'all well know, we didn't get much easy. Even though we score a bunch of points, there wasn't a whole lot of easy. Off that bounce. Got to get better there. There happened.
Coach, Justin Johnson ends up with 14 points and 12 rebounds, and I don't think he scored until either very late in regulation or early in overtime. And what does that say about his mental toughness that he just kept grinding?
Well, the biggest thing with Justin, we got to get him back to practice. Since we left there in my last press conference, he hadn't practiced a second. None. I thought it showed tonight. I thought he was not finishing things, just not sharp. When a guy, first off, he's been out for, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Just got no rhythm. We can't get a rhythm with him being able to execute too. Really being able to execute. It's very obvious. I don't have to tell you this. It's like standing over there on ice skates, not knowing how to ice skate, watching us come up that floor some. You just never know what's going to happen. That's where we got to get some more command about us, more control about us. And again, Junior was better than he was last game. I don't expect him to score 29 points. That's not his deal. But he's able to find ways to get at the rim and do some things. It's about, as a point guard, continue to get better, grab that ball, put it underneath your arm when they went zone, recognizing they went zone. We played a possession, they're in zone. I don't know if none of us knew they was in zone. Those areas we get better at right there. And you can't call timeout every trip down the court. And we will. We will get better at it. These are good learning experiences. We saw some different things tonight. Saw a press first time and literally froze up in it. And I know we've all seen deers in headlights. That's all we were a little bit. And take it out of bounds and just sling it to them. Just give them an easy layup. That ball's too precious for that. They'll learn from it. Slow down. Willie, slow down. And again, toughness category, offensive rebounding, free throw blockouts, those areas, boy, I have a hard time swallowing. That's not in my DNA very much. And we got to get better at that right there for sure.
Ben Lawson had a double-double tonight, also added 3 blocks on his stat line. How is that to see a solid performance out of him?
Good, solid performance. Good, solid performance. Need more from him. I want more from him around that rim. That ball's bouncing around that rim. I want to see him come out there with it. He catches that ball in there in traffic, slow down a little bit, go through somebody. Go through somebody, get that foul line, dunk on somebody. Get a little more gunpowder in your craw in there. But Ben's doing good. I like Ben. He'll keep getting better for us. As we keep getting better, learn how to execute and learn how to do some things, he'll get better.
You mentioned last game, Q got in foul trouble, and it was a big problem for the team not having him on the court. You had him on there for 46 minutes tonight. What did it bring?
Well, we all hope Q can shoot it better than he's shooting it. That's the thing we think he can do. We see him do it quite often. He went 1 for 8 from three-point line tonight. That's kind of his MO and DNA. Shoot the ball and score a little bit. I haven't seen the real comfortability of him really getting in rhythm, catching, shooting it. I see Cake in a little bit of rhythm. I see Cake 3 for 5, good stats, 24 points, 8 for 4. I see him in more rhythm than I do Junior out there right now. And I think Junior's got a lot of ability off the bounce. All those areas, he's just got to keep getting better. He's one of those guys we're going to depend on. We need him to score for us every night.
What does it mean to have Junior score in different ways tonight?
That's good. Hey, Junior's, big, strong guy. Can take advantage of some cats inside. His probably weakness is a small guy up into him quickness-wise. His strength is, if he can get his shoulder by somebody driving to the rim, because he's big and strong. And even though, and sometimes a guy who's not a cerebral point guard, when they drive it, they got blinders on. But he's a straight line driver. He can create some fouls and strong enough to finish around that rim some. So it's good. It's good.
Coach, Kentucky Western has got a lot of threes.
Yeah.
Just like the outside shot is another weakness on defense. How do you improve it?
Us guarding outside shot?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to get us guard dribble first. Hey, choose your poison. We got dribble problems. We have three-point problems. And again, I think we have to get some more mentality about us. I'm not getting beat on a bounce. Do we have the ability to guard it? Figure it out. We're figuring it out. Number 11, you gotta have somebody step up. Say, he's scoring on me. Do we have the ability to do that? We're figuring it out. Again, playing a lot of guys, a lot of minutes right there. Like I said, that basket got big for number 11. It's bigger than a big bushel basket. When you make shots, all that did was give them energy. Making three-point shots, it's like taking a needle, putting it in your balloon, letting it air out, And for them, it just gives them a lot of motion, a lot of energy to come back down and guard. And they kept hitting them over and over and over. That cat went 8 for 14. How many was he the last 5 minutes of the game in the last 10 minutes of overtimes? 15 minutes. Anybody got that stat? Last 15 minutes of the game. Of those 8, I'd say he had 6 or 7 of them. You guys supposed to know that stat. Huh? I got to break that down. Another question. You had a question? You had a question over here. You had a question? Quick.
I would say about the turnovers. You only created 6 turnovers in 50 minutes of play. How do you improve that? Or you got to improve that?
Well, I don't know if we're ever going to be do we have quickness out there to do it? We're not going to be one of those teams. Don't have depth, don't have that kind of quickness at the 1, 2s, and 3s to get up and pressure. But we got to get more active in some areas. Again, that dribble. That dribble's hurting us more than anything right now. Ability to guard the dribble. I told you all this last time. Man, everything starts with the dribble. That's the head of the snake. That dribble creates so many other things. It creates offensive rebounds because guys come and help. It creates fouls. It creates three-point shots. It all starts with the dribble. And we have to figure out ways to get better on that dribble. So through all this, we'll learn from it. As I said earlier on the radio, give Kentucky Wesleyan a lot of credit. You know, Happy's a friend of mine go back to the college days when he's at Georgetown. I should have never let him talk me into playing. I should never let that happen. I mean, I knew he'd have a really good team, and they're going to have a really good season. I can promise you a really good season. They're going to beat a lot of people. But give them some credit. They played really, really well. Really well.
What's the main thing you need to improve on that you learned from these first 2 games?
There's a lot of things, man. Ability to concentrate. Man, that's one thing. Offensively and defensively. I mean, concentration so much of the game. Ability to communicate. Things you do every day. Like I say, it's easy to do it when you're behind closed doors in practice. You got to do it when the lights are on. And understand this. And I got to keep pinching myself and reminding myself this. It's hard. Willie's never played. Junior's never been a point guard. Ever. And so much stuff starts right there at that point guard. A lot of things starts. That guy really been able to communicate. And it's hard to communicate if you really don't understand what you're communicating. What I mean by that, learning really what's going on so I can talk. But every game we play, every possession we watch on film, we'll find ways to learn from it. There were some things that was better a couple times than the other night, but there's so many things we gotta get better off. Who in the world is that? Taylor. Hello? Hello? This is Coach Stansbury. Can I help you? Can I help you? Are you looking for Matthew? Matthew? I'm at the media right now. You're on TV. This is Miss Taylor. Is that the right one?
That's the right one.
Okay, here's Matthew. Here he is. It's your girlfriend.
Coach, you guys tonight in regulation 24-29 from the free throw line, and that percentage.
What was it? What was it again?
24-29 from the free throw line.
In regulation?
In regulation.
Yeah.
Sort of maintained that composure at the line, even guys getting fatigued, whatever. Just were you proud of that throughout the night?
Here's what I believe. Here's what I believe, and that's a good question. I believe this. We're going to be a good free throw shooting team. I believe that. I believe in Justin Johnson going up there. He's going to make more when he misses, a whole lot more. I got total confidence in him. Going to the line, he went 3 for 7. He's going to be better than that. I like, Junior went 11-15. Q 7 for 8. Pancake went 3 for 5 the other night, but 5 for 5 tonight. I think we're a good free throw shooting team. As hard as we were, double overtime, Still shoot 76%. What was we in the 2 overtimes? 9-14. Justin missed. Justin missed probably all three of his in overtimes. Those last 2 overtimes. I like our abilities to make free throws. I do. I think we'll be a good free throw shooting team. And that'll help us win some games somewhere along the way. And we're going to need every point we can get. Yes, sir.
Rick, you talked about communication and concentration, how
Yes.
things get better.
Yes.
And I know you and your staff have emphasized that to the players. Do you feel like that you can say it, but it's also on the players amongst themselves? And I will ask the players this too when they come in, that they kind of got to do it among themselves and police themselves?
Hey, listen, first thing we do every day, first drill. It's called a communication concentration drill. That's where everything starts at. And I can find out who's concentrating right off the bat in practice because there's so many balls going different directions. And they have to communicate, pass it, receive it. We're good over there at 3 o'clock. We're getting better at that now. Communication's gotten a lot better in practice. From the first 2 weeks, we've come miles. Communication's gotten better. We have a lot of problems leaving practice at 3 o'clock, coming to 7 o'clock. When those lights come on, that's another level of concentration. I mean, you have to focus, block everything else out, and focus only between the lines, things you're in control of. And it's easier said than done. I know that. And I understand Junior's brand new at it. Never done it. Willie hadn't played. 2 fifth-year guys, I'm figuring their personalities out a little bit. What's their ability to talk? What's their ability to concentrate? You know, those are all things I have no idea about it. Again, it's easy to see them at 3 o'clock do it. But when you really turn the lights on, that pressure's on, that's when you really got to be able to do it. We'll get better at those areas. We'll get better. We got a ways to go, but we will get better.
What does Damari need to do in order to,
Yeah,
you want to play 5 minutes?
Yeah, he's got to get better, man. He's got to get better. He's got to help us. You know, that's when we kind of had that lead. Kind of lost that little lead in that stretch early in the first half. We go up 10 or so. It was about a 3 or 4 minute stretch where defensive transition, seeing where people at, talking it out. Made some mistakes. And again, in tight games, it's just hard as much as we want to, and we got to. He's got to learn. We've got to learn to get him more minutes. And we got to figure out ways to hide him. Hide some things he can't do so he can rest some people. Because there's no way me playing those 1s, 2s, and 3s that my minister playing, it leads to too many mistakes. Like I said, at least and those guys got to help us. Him, TJ's got to help us. Anton's a guy got to get in there more. Got to get him in there more and get him in rhythm with some people so he can play. Because he gives me some toughness. I need some more toughness around that rim.
Last one.
All right.